Hi, my name is Laurie Groh. I'm co-owner at Shoreside Therapies, and today we have Amanda Lowe with us. And we're going to talk a bit about Amanda and the way she does therapy and just get to know her a little bit better today. So thanks for being here, Amanda.
Thank you, Laurie. It's a pleasure to be here. Happy to be here to talk to everyone who may be watching. My name is Amanda. I use she, her pronouns, and I am new to Shoreside. And so I'm really looking forward to beginning my practice.
Yes, we're happy to have you. So thanks for coming. And we're just going to go over typical questions that people want to know. So, first question is, who do you help? Like, who would be your ideal client?
Yeah, great question, Laurie. Thank you. Um, I love working with a wide variety of clients. A little bit about my background, I come from higher education and I primarily worked with college students
Okay.
all throughout my career. So college age students who may be struggling academically or needing, a little bit of guidance with career exploration, individuals who might be navigating college as a first generation student. Those are all individuals that I enjoy working with. Apart from
Mhm.
that, I really enjoy working with, individuals who may have had a negative experience in therapy in the past. I really love partnering with those individuals to do a lot of what I would say corrective counseling work.
Yeah.
Um, I really enjoy working with people of color. I think that's a large passion of mine. And that's really informed by my own experiences of navigating mental health and trying to find my own therapist of color as well. And so now that I am on the other side of being a therapist myself,
Yeah.
I really enjoy working with individuals who might be seeking to find a counselor or therapist who share similar lived experiences or
Mhm.
shared identities. I consider myself a generalist. I work with all kind of individuals who may be experiencing anxiety, depression, trauma, and I love working with individuals who may be experiencing grief and loss, um,
Yeah.
and just going through those transitions because life is challenging.
Yeah, yes, very challenging. Yeah, there's always the ups and downs. So basically, your ideal client is either college student that might be going through some difficult times or having difficulty of finding their path, and just the typical things that might be going on with a college student or the non-typical things that would be going on with a college student.
Mhm.
People of color as well, and it is so important to have somebody that can somewhat see where you're coming from. I feel like that makes a huge difference in feeling connected, and
Mhm.
um, it's a very, very, very difficult thing to find therapists of color.
Mhm.
So I think that that's going to be really, really important that people would be feeling like they can talk to you.
Yeah.
And it does sound like the grief is another area, and then the general anxiety and depression that might come along.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
did I get that
Exactly.
right?
Yes, you did, Lori.
Yeah.
Thank you for emphasizing that.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So, what are your strengths as a counselor? What would you say that would be?
Yeah, I think my strength as a counselor is, the ability to be able to meet my clients where they are. I consider myself an individual who is very personable and can easily connect with the clients that I work with. And so I bring a lot of, myself into the space that I share with my clients. I don't mind sharing. And I think a lot of therapists may have different point of views on this, but I really don't mind self-disclosure as long as it's, beneficial to my clients. And as long as my clients, request, specific questions that might help them to feel like they are not alone. And so
Yeah.
I bring a lot of myself into this space. And I truly believe that that's really helpful and beneficial in the therapeutic relationship and the process that we go through. And so I think those two are really the core of who I am as a therapist, of meeting my clients where they are, and then being able to bring myself and humanizing myself. I'm not just a therapist, but I'm a human just like you, who go
Right.
through a lot of different life concerns and life issues as well, that I go through, and I really want to be able to share that with my clients.
Yes, yes, that's so important. It does seem like one of the things I notice with my clients in particular is that feeling of being alone out there with
Mm,
experiences. And so when somebody does ask, have you experienced this, or what was this like for you, to be able
mhm,
to share that in a therapeutic, meaningful way, I think is so valuable. And of course, meeting people where they're at and not
yeah,
expecting them to get to Z, to get first to the A, to B, to C, and moving as slow as they need to,
mhm,
because change
mhm,
is hard and the whole
mhm.
process can be very difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And which is why all the more I try to bring myself into that space with them and normalizing just the struggles of
Hmm.
life.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So, Amanda, tell me a bit about what a client could expect in a session with you.
Yeah, it really depends on how far along we are in this therapeutic process that we've been in.
Mhm.
If it's, when we are starting out, I, I do kind of like a brief assessment of, what the client is going through, what they might be coming in for. As we progress in therapy, I always begin with just, how are you? Right? I'd love to hear
Yeah.
how you've been doing since our last appointment, just kind of normalizing those check ins. I usually go over a brief recap of our previous appointments. I don't know about you, but my brain gets really foggy. Sometimes I forget what I
Yeah.
had for dinner. And so I like to recap just to make sure that we are on the same page. I like to do just those regular check ins of, are you meeting the goals that you and I set
Mhm.
out to do at the end of our last meeting. And the reason why I do that is really because I really think it's important to make sure that we're making progress in therapy.
Right.
I always tell my clients that one of my biggest fears as an individual and as a therapist is that you feel like you've wasted an hour of your life
Right.
being in
Right.
therapy with me. And so I keep my clients pretty accountable to the things that we talk about, because I think that true change happened outside of a 60-minute session, right? Whether that's
Yes.
weekly or
Yes.
biweekly. And so I'm
Mhm.
pretty, I go kind of with solution focused, but more than anything in the space that I share with my clients is really meeting them where they're at. What do you want to bring into session
Mhm.
today? What are some things that might be helpful for us to go through? And so I listen empathetically. I do a
Mhm.
lot of validation, and then I also challenge as needed.
Yeah, and that's great, and
Yeah.
I think that accountability for a lot of people is so important and valuable.
Hmm.
Just in general, a lot of individuals do need a little bit of that outside accountability to meet their goals, and
Yeah.
so that's something too I hear quite a bit of. All right, I need to be accountable for this. This is what I'm going to be doing next week,
Hmm.
and being able to remember and recap and keep things on track, I think is
Yeah.
extremely important for clients. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. So, what results could a client expect after seeing you? I mean, obviously they vary, right? But
Uh huh. Yeah, I mean, I echo that, right, Lori? It does vary from, client to client and what they are, coming into therapy for. Especially, I can speak to the students of color that I've worked with in the past of, just this kind of common narrative of, it's been so hard to find a therapist of color. And I've had such
Mhm.
negative experiences in the past, not necessarily because a therapist was a bad therapist, but maybe more so of college age students, right, who are looking more for connection and looking for, a
Yeah.
therapist who might connect with them through shared lived experiences. A lot of those students expressed to
Mhm.
me that, being able to find a therapist of color has been key. right, has been, just
Mhm.
kind of allowing them to sit, allowing them to not have to explain who they are or what they go through has been really powerful for a
Mhm.
lot of my students. And so I really love to be able to, just hear when students tell me that simply by being a person of color that I've been a large help. Apart from that, individuals who've had negative experiences in counseling has shared with me in the past before that I've been able to correct their experience in therapy, that they came
Right.
in ambivalent, but they are leaving feeling self-sustainable, feeling like they can,
Right.
move on towards life, and whether they might feel like they have an anxious cycle or fall into a depressive rut, that they know the skills that they have and really empowering them to be able to use that. And so I think that was just one of many, feedback that I've received from my clients in the past that has really uplifted who I am as a therapist too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think that's just one of many that my previous clients have shared with me.
That's awesome. That's so great. And that corrective therapy. I don't know if I've actually ever heard that term, but I could see how valuable that would be, because there are
Mhm.
many instances where a client will come in and say they maybe had a negative experience or just not what they were looking for. And I
Mhm.
just want to say to anyone out there, you deserve to find the right person, somebody that's
Yeah.
going to listen to you, that you feel connected with. Because the truth
Mhm.
of the matter is, nothing's going to change if you don't trust and respect the person you're talking to. So don't give
Yeah.
up, right? That
Uh-huh.
there's going to be somebody for you. So yeah, I
Yeah.
love that idea.
Yeah. I mean, that's so important, Lori. I mean, just adding on to what you're sharing, that's one thing that I'm pretty passionate about too, is when I, talk to clients of mine who are moving out of state or, moving institutions, and they express to me, is it okay that I ask for what I'm needing and wanting in a therapist? And I
Mhm.
always respond with absolutely, right? Like, you
Yes.
know, truthfully, for clients, is you're spending your time, your money, your resources to find a therapist who is a good fit. And I like to think a little bit
Mhm.
about, I'm not just going to be in a committed relationship with someone I don't know, right?
Right.
And
Right.
and
Right.
someone that I don't like. And so in the same way, it's kind of that in a therapeutic relationship is I want
Mhm.
to find a therapist who I can connect well with, especially if I'm going
Right.
to spending all this time, money, and resources.
Right, right,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think it does make a ton of sense just to focus back on that relationship piece. I think of therapy as a place to practice relational skills, and
Hmm.
it's a place where you can feel safe, hopefully, doing that. So
Hmm.
asking the therapist questions, or even saying, "Hey, this is what you said last time and I just been thinking about it all week. Can we talk a little bit more about it?"
Hmm.
It can really empower somebody that has maybe some anxiety about bringing up tough conversations with people, because
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be scary to have a conflict or to confront. And I think even confronting can be such a tough word, but really just, can you tell me more about why this was a suggestion or why you said this? I do think that being open as a therapist is
Hmm.
extremely useful for a
Yeah.
client's experience.
Yeah, I love what you just said, Lori. I mean, building on that too, I always tell a lot of my clients that the work that we are doing in the space, yes, it's really hard, but it's the preparation, right? It's building your
Mhm.
capacity to be able to go outside of our therapeutic space and be able to build and use those skills in other interpersonal relationships or other different
Right.
life events that may have come up.
Yes. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thanks so much, Amanda. It was so nice talking with you. And
Yeah.
you will be starting January 2nd. So,
Yes.
yes. So, what we're going to do is we'll open up your schedule. So, anyone that would like to schedule with Amanda, you can go to our website and you should be able to schedule a 15-minute consult that's free.
Mhm.
Or you can go ahead and just do a first initial assessment with Amanda, and you can go from there. Otherwise, you can email her with any questions, and we'll have that information right on our website. So thanks for being
Mhm.
with us. And thanks again, Amanda.
Thank you so much, Laurie.
All right, take care.
Thank you.